He could obliterate everything. That stark warning from a former US Special Forces colonel as Donald Trump weighs military action against Iran. With American carriers moving into range and tensions surging, the question now is not just whether Washington will strike, but how devastating that strike could be. The United States is moving formidable military assets into position as tensions with Iran escalate sharply, amid warnings that any decision to strike could have devastating consequences. A former US Special Forces colonel has cautioned that Donald Trump could obliterate everything if he authorizes bombing raids against Tehran. The warning comes as a substantial American strike force converges on the region, with the president signaling that a decision on military action could come within days. US ex-Special Forces Colonel Ron McMahon told The Sun,
Iran's regime could face annihilation if US war plans are really set in motion.
He suggested that US forces could rapidly neutralize Iran's air defenses, including Russian-made S-300 systems, through electronic warfare and anti-radar missiles tactics previously deployed during operations in Venezuela earlier this year. McMahon further claimed that Mossad could assist in identifying key targets, with special forces potentially establishing forward positions near hardened facilities, including sites reportedly under construction in the Zagros Mountains. Mossad could also track movements and life patterns of key members of the regime to plan hits by Reaper drones or by Delta Force and Navy SEALs.
The Israelis have friends in high places in Iran willing to work for the West.
On February 20th, Trump warned Iran that the Iranian government better negotiate a fair deal as he considers military force.
They better negotiate a fair deal. You know, the people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very sad situation.
Military preparations have intensified as negotiations between Washington and Tehran remain stalled. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has continued to resist US demands to dismantle the country's nuclear program. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest and most powerful aircraft carrier, is believed to have passed through the Strait of Gibraltar and is reportedly just 3 days from full battle readiness. By February 24th, it is expected to operate within range alongside the USS Abraham Lincoln, combining to deliver significant firepower should Washington decide to act. Flight tracking data indicates that aerial refuelling tankers have gathered at bases in Greece and Spain. According to Flight Radar 24, 6 KC-135 Stratotankers have been positioned at Rota in southern Spain, with a further 7 at Suda Bay in Crete, aircraft considered essential for sustaining large-scale air operations. Carrier-based EA-18G Growler aircraft could be used to jam radar systems, potentially clearing the way for F-15, F-18, and F-35 fighters to strike ballistic missile installations and underground storage facilities. Bunker-busting GBU-57 bombs, launched from B-2 stealth bombers operating out of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, could target nuclear sites at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Iran has reportedly acquired more advanced Russian S-400 surface-to-air missile systems to protect sensitive locations. However, analysts note that similar systems have faced vulnerabilities in other conflicts. Initial strikes, according to the scenario described, would likely include sea-launched Tomahawk cruise missiles aimed at degrading air defenses and destroying elements of Iran's aging air force. Meanwhile, tracking service Italmil Radar observed that the scale and intensity of military movements in the Mediterranean are becoming increasingly difficult to follow. With diplomatic efforts faltering and American assets moving into range, the coming days may prove decisive. Whether the crisis ends at the negotiating table or escalates into open conflict now rests on decisions yet to be taken, but preparations suggest Washington is ready for either outcome.